Hello everybody and welcome to my session. My name is Eleftheria and thank you very much for the invitation. It's an honor being here and talking to this lovely event. My session is all about how I got my first developer's job, JavaScript job. Before we begin with that, please let me introduce myself. My name is Eleftheria. As I've already mentioned, I'm coming from Greece. I'm a front-end developer, content creator, and also a master's student. You can find me on my social media. Feel free to catch up with me on Twitter. I'm quite active there, but also on email or on Instagram too. Alright, and now let's get started. So in this session we will talk about my coding journey and how I eventually got my first JavaScript developer's job. We will continue with some tips and techniques of habit formation and how that can help me or even like you. And last but not least, about dealing with stress and frustration. Alright, let's get started. So, my coding journey. I graduated from an engineering university, which means that I did a lot of maths, a lot of physics, a lot of electronics, but not so much of coding. I realized that I wanted to have a coding job because I did some internships. I did one internship in Greece and another one in the Netherlands, and I had some internship working as a front-end developer, but I was looking through different kind of jobs and I was saying that I didn't have all of those things that they were asking for. I actually didn't have any of those things. So one day, as I was doing my internship abroad, I started reading an article. It was on Medium. It was written by the creator of the challenge 100 Days of Code, named Alex Calway. And in this article, he was saying how you can take part in that particular challenge and what are the benefits of this challenge. And as I was reading that article, I thought that this is exactly what I need. So I was like, challenge accepted. So what I had to do in that challenge, it was to code for 1 hour every single day for 100 days. And I should upload all my code in GitHub, which that eventually would help me to build a portfolio. By that moment, I didn't have a portfolio. I didn't even know what GitHub was, and I was like struggling a little bit with that. But also like the third point was to tweet using the hashtag of 100 days of code and also encourage other people to take part in the challenge or support them in their projects. By that time, I was not even using Twitter. So I had a lot of things to cover. I started eventually doing all of those things, and the first question that I got from other people was, yes, but what do you code? What do you like to do? Well, I like to do a lot of things, and thankfully there are also a lot of different ways that you can learn, that you can take inspiration from. And for me, some sources that I used was like online education platform such as Udemy, Udacity, Pluralsight, and numerous other sites, obviously. Then YouTube, which YouTube has a lot of quality content and you can find things even if you're a beginner or a more advanced person. Then there are like online communities like Stack Overflow, hello, but also some Discord servers, some other channels that you can go like have a question and people like usually very gladly they will give you an answer. There are also some other coding challenges. So far, I've only mentioned 100 days of code, but there are other challenges and we will talk about them shortly, like daily CSS Images or 50 days, 50 sites and stuff like that, that each day they give you a theme to code or they send you a video, a tutorial video, or they send you some links some stuff to read about, so they can also be very helpful. And of course, the other thing is magazines and books. I read a lot of online magazines. It's something that I believe it has really helped me. It has helped me with motivation. It gives me ideas about things to build. It shows me what other things are doing. So like reading magazines and obviously books, it's really, really, really helpful. If you want to be a JavaScript developer, or if you're interested in JavaScript and you're still in your very first steps, I would suggest you the A Look into JavaScript. It's an amazing book that I believe everyone should read. And also, from the other hand, if you are struggling to find inspiration for your projects, again, there are numerous things that I would suggest you, and some things that have really, really helped me is, as I said, reading blogs, browsing different forums and publications through Medium, through DevTo, through Hashnode, HackerNoon. You can find literally so many things which are free, and you can adjust your level. Again, either you are a beginner or a more advanced person. And obviously, like, go to meetups, attend to meetups and conferences, which I'm pretty sure that you're already doing that since you are watching this session and you are here. Now, the other thing was what exactly I wanted to learn, because as I said, my goal was to be a JavaScript developer. So I thought that I should start from the basic things. And for me, those basic things was HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But I should also learn Git and GitHub because I was seeing everyone using it. The challenge said that I should use that, but I had no idea how to do that. And of course, I wanted to stop being afraid of the console and the developer tools and the network tabs that I was seeing, like the other developers were using those things. Like, as I said, I was doing an internship, so I had already an idea of what I wanted to do, and I could see what other developers were doing. And the last part of my challenge, like the last thing that I wanted to learn, at least for that very first step, was to learn a framework. I decided to go with AngularJS. Now, I know that that wasn't the best idea because AngularJS, as you may know, is going to be deprecated. But back then it wasn't like that. And the other thing was to learn a data visualization library. I stick with D3GS, which that was a pretty good idea. And I will tell you in a bit why it was a good idea for me and for my personal journey. So what did I build through that challenge? I started working, as I said, with HTML and CSS, and I took part in another challenge called Daily CSS Images. In that challenge for 50 days, I was coding every day a different theme using only HTML and CSS. So the images that you're seeing right now are done only with CSS. And at first, my sketches and my designs were pretty simple, but I think that as the time progressed, I also got better with that, and my designs got better. Hopefully they got better. But then I started also working with JavaScript, and this is the tic-tac-toe game, and the inspiration is coming from CodeCamp. CodeCamp is like a really nice source to learn everything that has to do with front-end development, and also there are some amazing things for back-end developers, security, and interviews and stuff like that. This is also another game, the Simon Says game, and it's built with JavaScript, pure JavaScript. Now that I see those projects, I can understand how far I have gone. But if anyone is still in that or is starting his or her journey on coding, I would suggest you go through similar projects. Also, as I said, I worked a little bit with AngularJS. I started building some small projects there and some bigger projects there. I started to implement and try to implement some more advanced games, let's say. But I also started learning D3GS. And as I said, this actually helped me a lot, because eventually I found my first freelancing job as a D3 developer. D3 is a data visualization library and you can do so many great things. So it was like such a relief for me because when I found that job, I really didn't have any experience. The only thing that I had done was to show and to prove that I know D3GS. How I did that, how I show that I know D3GS was by building small projects. And while I was building those projects, I was actually recording myself, and all the code and everything could be found on YouTube and on GitHub. So eventually some people noticed that and they said that, hey, we have a small project for you. We know what you're capable of doing, so do you want to work with us? And that's how I got my first remote developer D3 job. This is also like part of another challenge. It's called the Daily UI, and in that challenge I was working not only with coding but with design too, because eventually my mindset changed a little bit and I didn't want to work only with front-end development but also with design as well. So by the time that I had that I was about to finish the challenge of 100 days of code, I had moved on. Like, I had finished with my internship. I had started looking for jobs, and a lot of people through my interviews, they were asking me because they knew that it was my first job, they were asking me about my projects, and this time I had to show them something because I had a portfolio. I had a portfolio through GitHub and I could show them the projects that I have done. I had also started my YouTube channel, so they could see my YouTube channel and they could see what I was capable of doing. They could see some small projects on D3GS and on JavaScript and obviously on HTML and CSS too. So I also mentioned some other challenges. So let's very quickly go through them. I started with 100 days of code, and if you take a look on the date, you can see it right here. You will see that it's actually just one day before the new year. So maybe everyone, like that last day, they are out and partying. Okay, maybe not right now, but people do that. And I was home, I was coding. It was my first day. And I also did another challenge, the JavaScript 30, the daily CSS Images, which again, if you take a look on that date, it is on Valentine's Day. So maybe I also didn't have anything better to do. And eventually I kept going with other challenges and other challenges and other challenges. I did quite a few of them. I know someone could say that I'm a bit addicted to them, but I just like it, and it really gives me a boost and a motivation on keep going. So I start also talking a little bit with motivation and inspiration. And as I was using Twitter more and more, people started asking me that particular question, like, how can you be so inspired, or what motivates you to keep going and keep doing all those things? Well, for me, the answer is quite simple. Like, if you want to do something, just do it. There is no one that will stop you. If you feel that you really have to do something, again, just do it. Let people know what you want to do, what you want to build, and again, start doing it. You don't have to wait for a Monday, you don't have to wait for a new week, for a new month, or for a new year. Just start doing things. And maybe the inspiration and the motivation is different for anyone. Maybe for me, it's just the need that I wanted to get better, but maybe for someone else this is something different. Maybe someone wants to get a promotion, so he or she has to learn something new. Maybe they want some extra money, so they have to learn again something new. Whatever the reason is, just start working for that thing. Like right now, start working. So, what did I gain by doing that challenge of 100 days of codes, and why it has helped me so much? Well, the thing is that my goal was to learn JavaScript and find a job as a JavaScript developer, and eventually I did that. On the last days of the challenge, I found a job in my city. It was like a nice job. It gave me so many things, and it was my first job, but upon that I started building more and more. So again, from this challenge, I learned to be more optimistic and grateful for the things that I have and the people that are around me, because trust me, you have to be also a little bit patient, like coding for 100 days straight. I met a lot of people and I learned to believe more in myself and in my powers. I certainly got better at time management, because when you have to code every day, when you have to go to work, when you have to do a master's, maybe you have a family, maybe you have a home to support, maybe you have kids. So you really need to be good at time management. And I also had the opportunity to travel quite a lot. Maybe seems quite irrelevant, but it's actually not. As a developer, you have many opportunities to travel, either for work or being a freelancer or going to meetups and conferences. So that's also how I started traveling, because I have like two passions, coding and traveling. Okay, so would I recommend a challenge like that? The short answer is yes, like definitely yes. If you want to get better, if you want to improve, if you want to connect with people, just do it. Do it and it will like truly help you. And if you have like any question on that, again, like feel free to contact me on social media or over an email and we can discuss it more. Now let's continue with the second part of this session, which is tips and techniques of habit formation, because coding and sticking to a goal should be a habit. If you want to improve, if you want to get better, that should also be a habit. So let's start with a quote that I really like, and it says, "I'm not telling you it's going to be easy, I'm telling you it's going to be worth it." So I'm not telling you that coding and finding for new jobs and going to interviews and like having these rejections is going to be easy. But I'm telling you that it's going to be worth it. I'm really glad that that day, the last day of before going to the new year, that I was at home, I was in my desk, I was actually in that exact same position that I am right now, and I started my journey. Was it easy? No. Had I a lot of rejections? Yes, I had. But this didn't stop me, like that didn't stop me. Okay, so the first thing about habits is that you will feel some resistance. Resistance is always there and it always gets you. Like try to do something good, try to do something positive, and it's always there. It doesn't have to do always with job related things. Like for example, think about when you are on a diet, that you will see a cookie and you will want to eat that cookie, although you know that you shouldn't eat that. This is resistance. Resistance is always there and it always gets you. The other thing is that there are some things that you can do to eliminate those restrictions and those resistance things. And that thing is the power of limits, is set limits. Don't spread your effort around, so like focus on one thing at a time. For me, that was HTML, secondly CSS, thirdly JavaScript. So focus on one thing at a time. It doesn't matter what it is, just focus on that thing. Don't multitask. Multitask doesn't work. If you don't trust my word, just Google it and you will see the service and stuff like that, and you will see that multitasking doesn't work. So stick at one thing at a time. Try for consistency over volume. So say that you will sit maybe for even 30 minutes every day and you will do something for yourself. Don't try to do everything, for example, in the weekend because you think that in the weekend you will have more time. No, start building something small every single day, even for a few minutes, and don't overload your weekends or your nights. It's better to have just a little free time rather than too much, and maybe this is a little bit weird for some people, but the thing is that when you have a lot of free time, you will say, okay, I'm going to do that later, or later, or later, and eventually you never do it. Am I right? The thing is that if you have like a nice program, a nice schedule, a to-do list, you will see that you will start doing everything. Even if you have just a little time, you will do everything. Something else that may help you is track progress visually. The image that you can see right now is coming from my GitHub account while I was doing the challenge of 100 days of code. It's a mental thing that it will say like, don't break the chain. And always keep a log or a calendar or a to-do list. It doesn't matter what this to-do list is going to be or where it's going to be written. It doesn't matter if you're using a fancy app or just a simple pen and paper. Just write everything down and start working on that. You don't want to break the chain. You want to always work on those little tasks and have like little tasks, not big ones. These are all tips that they can help you. Now, the other thing is that you want to stay away from toxic environment. Like, no matter what, you want to stay away from those things. So, as I mentioned earlier, if you are, for example, in a diet, like, don't go for the cookie. Even better, like, don't have cookies or ice cream at your home. Like, always keep fruits and other healthy foods around you. And the same goes with coding. Like, if you want to code, set up everything nice and clear. Don't try to remember like your passwords, like have them somewhere written, like in a key pass or something like that. And other things that they can help you is like block all the notifications, block all the distraction, set up a limit that you will work on that time slot, and as I have already mentioned for 100th time, start working. Like, let the other people know that you want to do something or you want an hour for yourself, so they cannot distract you, they won't call you, and like always having your phone away or have it like in a silent mode, have it in a different room so you will not catch up your phone as you read or as you study or as you code or as you design. Okay, and some other things that about habits is that a habit is like a loop, an infinite loop. You want, the first thing is to trigger something that it will trigger you, so you will start doing things. The other thing is the routine, so the actual habits. And the last thing is the reward, that you will feel like you did something. The reward can be something either physical or not. The reward can be something mentally, but the loop is always like that, like trigger, return, and reward, and that's how you build up your habits. Some other things that they can probably help you is the bright line rules, and this is like going from something general to something specific. So as I've already mentioned, when you're having like a to-do list, you can have a general idea written, but eventually write everything down in smaller tasks and subtasks and minimal goals and, you know, all those things. The more you define what you want to succeed, the easier it's going to be for you to succeed it. So again, have like a plan on your mind, like have a very, very, very specific plan on your mind. For me, that plan was to find a JavaScript job. But for you, maybe it's something different. Maybe it's like, I want to get a promotion. Okay, how am I going to get that promotion? Do I need to learn something new to impress my boss? Do I need to do another project? Do I need to get better at time management? What exactly is that thing that it's going to help me to get that promotion. Like, always work on the small things that eventually will build up. Some other things that, again, they can help you is the keystone habits, which leads to the development of multiple good habits. So if you see something that works, you will not break it. If you see, for example, that diet is good for you and you see that you're losing some weight, then maybe you will think, okay, I will continue that. And not only that, maybe I will start also working out, so I will also see more results on myself. Make that habit so small that you cannot forget about it or deny it or say that I won't have the time to do that. Make it so small that you cannot say no. Now, something that a lot of people will say is that, okay, yes, Eleftheria, all of those things that you say are nice, but I don't have the time to do those things. No, my friends, you are wrong. We all have 24 hours, but the way that we are using those hours may be different. So I hope that I can help you with that as well. Claim back the time. Be ruthless about what you want to do. Be very, very specific about what you want to do and about what you want to learn and how you will achieve that. Change only 1 or 2 things at a time. So don't try to do everything simultaneously. This is also why New Year's resolution don't work, because you will write down a lot of things and eventually you will forget about them. So just stick to 1 or 2 things at a time and have them somewhere written in front of you all the time. I'm not kidding, just do it and you will see the progress eventually. Start from something small that it can go wrong and have a minimum standard, and from there you can always build on. For example, say every night I will wash the dishes. Every night for 5 or 10 minutes I will do the chores. Do something which, even if it's so small, you will feel accomplished because you did something. And now something else which is about time, and hopefully it can help you, is doing two opposite things at a time. So maybe you want to learn a lot of things, but try learning 2 opposite things. If you want to be a developer, don't go for, let's say, JavaScript and Python, because these are 2 similar things. And if you are a beginner, your mind can't process those little differences. But go for Python and, I don't know, Java, which are 2 completely different things, and your mind can process those differences. Or about playing the guitar and learning or studying maths. These are again 2 opposite things that your mind can adjust better. Something else that it has to do with time again is some time concepts, like the Pomodoro technique. It's something that I use all the time. If you're not familiar with the Pomodoro technique, it basically says that you set up a timer for 20 or 25 minutes and you're super concentrated on that time slot. You will not touch your phone, you will not browse in the internet, and then you will take only 5 minutes as a break, and you will continue with 20 or 25 minutes, and eventually you will repeat this pattern as many times as you can. And the other thing is the Pareto's principle, which in the Pareto's principle, it says that 80% of your output is coming from 20% of your input. This is really, really important because it helps you understand where your focus should be. Okay, and now another quote that I really like, that it has to do with consistency over quality, that we've already talked a little bit about. It's part of courage is simply consistency. If you think that something is working, why would you stop doing it? If you see that learning, that doing projects, that logging everything on GitHub is something positive, why would you ever stop it? Just continue doing it. And some some tips that again may help you, and they for sure have helped me, that are not very clear. I mean, not a lot of people are talking about them, is keeping a not to-do list. So I know a lot of people have mentioned before, keep a to-do list. I have also mentioned that. But what about keeping a not to-do list? Why is this important? Well, it's freaking important because having in a paper like in front of you the things that you shouldn't do will again help you not doing these things. So it can be something like, I will not eat ice cream at 11 in the evening, I will not watch TV for more than 1 hour per day, or like, I will not leave the dishes unwashed in the evening. Always have that not to do list in front of you, and it will help you to focus on the things that are more important for you. So the second thing is like analyzing your day and the activities that you do. Track your time and be, as we said, like really ruthless. If you write down everything that you do inside the day, it will take you some time to write everything down because we want all the details, but you will see some things that maybe you hadn't noticed that are taking your time, but they are not really worth your time. Time is the most like precious thing that we have. So really be careful about how you manage your time. And the third thing is that if you don't have something, imitate it. What I mean by that is like, let me give you an example. If you want to improve your English, maybe you're not an English native speaker, you could go to a Discord channel, you could go to different a Discord server, or you could go to different channels and find people that talk English and try to communicate with them. Because maybe you don't have people in real life that they are talking English. So this is something that you can imitate. Other example is if you don't have like any friend that is coding, so maybe you want some motivation from your friend. Again, you can go online, you can find so many people that are coding, you can find them on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on different servers and channels, and try to have like a conversation with them. So even if you don't have someone in real life, again, you can find someone over the internet. Okay, and another quote that's coming from Steve Jobs, and again, like I really like, it says, "Great things in business are never done by one person. They are done by a team of people. They are done by a team of people." This is about community and accountability. If you have a goal, make it public. You may be afraid of doing that, okay, I get it. But if you do something public, then you will afraid what will happen if I fail. And this small like fear will eventually help you to keep going and keep pushing. Connect with people not because you have to, but because you want to. And don't ignore people or situation. Don't say I will go to that meetup the next time, or I will log into that event the next time. Don't wait for the next day. Don't say I will talk to that girl the next day or to that boy the next evening. Just start doing things now. And the last part of this session is about dealing with frustration and stress, because I mean, it's a situation that we've all been there. Again, a quote that I really like, it says, "It's not the strongest of the pieces that survive, not the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change." So the key word here is responsive. Dealing with problems at your workspace. So maybe you have problems with your colleagues or with work itself. Like, what will you do in those situations? Try to learn if it's only you. Is it only you that you have those problems with your colleagues or your boss? Talk to someone. If you're afraid to talk with someone that it's already at the same position as you or at the same work as you, maybe you can find like ex-colleagues through LinkedIn and try to chat with them as well. But like, leave toxic places at any cost. If you see that something is not working, like, leave that place immediately. It doesn't worth it. Every single day counts. Now, some other thing is that people sometimes they afraid that they are not like smart enough. But something again that may help you is learning how other people starting their careers. And so far, like I told you, my career, how it started. I know that coding is hard and it's complex, and like, yeah, if it was easy, like, everyone would do it. Don't compare yourself to others, and like, learn that, like, you have to know that in your first job maybe they will not take you because you are that amazing coder. Maybe they will take you because you have other skills, like you are good in communication, maybe you are good at understanding things, maybe you have humor, maybe, I don't know, maybe they just like you and they want to hire you. So it's not always about the hard skills, but the soft skills play a big role too. Now, what about dealing with learning and how to speed up the learning process? Well, there are some things that you can do. These are like building projects, and don't watch only tutorials, but actually building things yourself, and try to have like an updated portfolio. Some other things that they can help you is creating a sustainable plan and working on that plan like each and every single day. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. So try to write articles, maybe record yourself and upload videos on YouTube, tweet about your progress, and use social media in your advance. And another small tip here is when you're watching podcasts or video tutorials, you could like have the speed on 1 at a time or 1.5, so you will watch or listen to something faster, and eventually you will learn faster. And last but not least, it's about dealing with yourself. Sometimes people are too hard with themselves. Don't judge yourself too hard. It's okay to fail, everyone fails, and it's okay to change your goals. From time to time, take a break, but then come up and come stronger. You have that. Don't forget to take a break, as I said, like eat good, work out, do showers, and sleep like 8 hours or so. Okay guys, so that was by me. I hope that you liked this presentation. If you have like any question, feel free to catch up with me on social media or on my email, or even find me on my YouTube channel. Again, thank you very much. I'm wishing you a beautiful day and see you. Thank you.